The Texas sun scorched low over my 140-acre ranch, casting long shadows across the dirt driveway I'd struggled so hard to defend. My name is Daniel Hayes, a 42-year-old Army veteran and single dad to my 12-year-old son Caleb. For a decade, this land in southern Texas had been my refuge, a place to raise Caleb, care for horses, and enjoy the kind of quiet you can't find in a city. But peace, I learned, costs something when you're living among entitled neighbors and a homeowners association that believes it owns you. It all began with a gate, a tall black metal one I put up to take back what was mine. And when that gate was raised, hell came knocking. 10 years ago, I purchased this ranch in order to get away from the noise of the world. Caleb and I created a life here, milking goats before school, riding dirt bikes down the paths in the evening. It was easy, straightforward. Then arrived the Crestwood Estates HOA. The builders constructed their new spick-and-span community straight behind my land, and when they requested to purchase a patch of my ground for an access road, I refused. I did not wish their automobiles ripping through my peaceful, but they constructed despite this, and before long, their inhabitants began using my private drive as a public highway. Initially, I tolerated this, a few cars. No damage done, that was my mistake. It did not take long for the HOA to act like they owned my property. One day, I came home to find a cluster of board members standing on my driveway, arguing about whether to pave it with concrete. "This isn't your road," I informed them, voice calm but firm. "It's my property." That's when Susan Mitchell, the HOA president, came forward, blonde, pointed-tongued, and wearing a pastel blazer. She had a smile that could cut glass. "Daniel, sweetheart, we're just trying to make things better for everyone. You can't keep us stuck in the dark ages." I held her gaze. "I'm not in your HOA. Susan," her smile tightened. "Maybe you should be." From that moment, my kindness became their weapon. Delivery vans, speeding teens, kids on scooters. They all tore through my driveway like it was a freeway. I had to stop feeding my chickens by the road after someone almost ran my rooster over. I politely asked them to stop first. They laughed. Then the letters arrived, official-looking notices from the HOA to keep their road up. Even threatening fines for not trimming weeds, I sent them back unopened. That's when Susan got confident one morning. I spotted a construction crew digging a drainage ditch across my driveway. They showed me a permit. It was placed, a fake rush call to the county confirmed it. "You're the fourth rancher." They've attempted this on the clerk level. I was tired playing nice. I sent a certified letter to all Crestwood residents effective immediately. "This driveway is closed to public access. A gate will be installed in 7 days," the day I posted it. Susan pounded at my door like she was storming a fortress. "You can't do this," she shrieked. "My daughter's school bus needs this street." I closed the door in her face. The war had started. Neighbors began shouting from their SUVs as they drove. Mean notes showed up on my mailbox. Someone threw trash along my fence. I did not give a response. I put up the gate. 6 feet of black steel with a keypad lock, cameras and posts that dug deep into the ground. I verified the property lines, talked to the county, documented each step the morning it closed. I felt like I was able to breathe again. That same day, Susan attempted to bull through it in her Lexus and called 911. When she was unsuccessful, Sheriff's Deputy Paul Carter showed up, dust billowing around his SUV. Susan, in complete meltdown, crocodile tears, streaming, pointing at me like I'd just robbed a bank. "He's menacing me," she screamed, saying I was brandishing a weapon. I raised my coffee mug. "This..." "What you mean?" Deputy Carter, torn between Susan's hysterics and my composure, requested to speak in private. "Is this gate on your land?" he asked. "Yes," I said. Susan shrieked. "He's lying. This road's always been ours." The deputy's sweat-drenched forehead informed me he hadn't signed up for this. But this wasn't about the gate any longer. It was about what they'd done to drive me this far. The trouble began months before the HOA's requirements became ridiculous. They treated my land like a communal playground, and when I pushed back, they doubled down in response to my letter. The harassment intensified. Neighbors blared as they went by. Someone keyed my truck. Then Susan went personal. She phoned Caleb's school, accusing him of riding his dirt bike recklessly around children. The principal recognized it, but it hurt. She was trying to get at my son. I upped my defenses. Solar-powered motion lights, trail cameras, the whole shebang. Caleb assisted me in putting them up, naming each post like a foragle's nest, Coyote Hollow. But the HOA didn't prevent one evening. I caught a trespasser at my goat pen, bolt cutters in hand, my back gates lock, snipped clean through. I chased him off with a flashlight and a yell, but it shook me. Then the rock hurled over my gate with a note, "You think you're clever? Just wait." I handed it over to Deputy Carter, who bagged it but cautioned me, "You've got the law on your side, but people get stupid." Stupid didn't even come close at 2:13 a.m. My phone went off camera alert, grainy footage of a figure spray painting my gate. "You don't belong here," with a crude pig drawing. I cleaned it off, but the ghost of the paint remained. Caleb saw it and said, "Dad, we need a wall." So we built just proper ranch fence with wire mesh and private property signs. Neighbors gawked, some cursed, but it felt like retrieving my soul. Then came the drone. It hummed over my backyard, recording. All I didn't know, I snatched Caleb's baseball bat and bashed it out of the air. The memory card was a goldmine clips of my barn. My windows zoomed in on Caleb on his bike. This wasn't spying, it was stalking. I called my old Army friend Nathan Reed, now a land use attorney. He viewed the footage and whistled, trespassing harassment, privacy invasion. If this portrays Caleb. "We're dealing felonies!" He filed a restraining order and cease and desist against the HOA. Susan didn't give an inch. She came with cops accusing me of having assaulted her drone. I handed the officer the video. "If I flew this over her, kid." "What would you say?" The cop fidgeted. Susan's face dropped when I brought up my lawyer. "You're pressing charges," she stuttered. "Should have stopped at fake permits." I told her. She stormed off, but the battle was by no means over. The HOA countersuit alleging adverse possession of my driveway because they'd used it for years. Nathan dismissed it as a joke. We had deeds, surveys, tax records demonstrating it was mine. But then I saw a missing folder from my files, photos of it from years ago. No trespassing signs, reviewing my cameras. I spotted Susan's husband, Tom Mitchell, breaking into my house with a spare key he'd found in my flower pot, breaking and entering. I had him on tape. Nathan added it to the charges. The HOA's next move was desperate. 3 men in Crestwood shirts were caught sawing through my fence, saying Susan said it was all right. I recorded them, voice steady. "Continue, this will look great in court," they fled. But the damage was done. Deputy Carter bumped it up to a full investigation, threatening that Susan would be in serious trouble for masterminding it. Then came the bombshell. Caleb saw a man in our barn, Brant, the HOA's IT tech. I chased him down, holding him with an unloaded shotgun conversation. I growled, his words sent shivers down my spine. It wasn't Susan, she was a diversion. A developer wants your property for oil and gas. The HOA was bribed to push you. My heart was racing. This had nothing to do with a road. It was mineral rights. I didn't even know I possessed. I called Deputy Carter, who took Brent into custody. Brent spilled everything. Crescent Peak Development had financed the HOA to wear me down. Private investigator Lisa Monroe delved deeper, implicating the HOA in shell companies owned by the developer. They'd hired Susan, Tom, and others to harass me, hoping I'd sell or let an easement. Nathan filed a federal racketeering suit. When Crescent Peak made $1.5 million offer for my ranch. I torched the letter in my fire pit. We didn't build this for money. I informed Caleb we constructed it in peace. HOA collapsed. Susan disappeared, following a permanent restraining order. Tom paid $80,000 in fines and sold his property. Brent became whistleblower, revealing a statewide land grab scandal. The county proclaimed my driveway a guarded private road, and I hung the certificate here above my fireplace. Neighbors, some manipulated by Susan, apologized with pie and promises to mend fences. Months later, Caleb gave his classmates a tour of our goats, proudly displaying our fence sensors. The experience had left us scarred, but it made us stronger. The right people won't have to cross if you'll stand with you. Where are you reading this from? Have you ever had to fight for what's yours?